First at noon, no charges for Honolulu police officers involved in a fatal New Year's Day shooting of a man near UH Manoa. Now, the prosecuting attorney just wrapped up a news conference. Dylan Ancheta joins us with the new details. Dylan.
Thank you so much, Ashley. This update comes almost a year after the shooting that killed 44-year-old Sydney Tafokitau. Steve Alm said their investigation revealed that the use of deadly force by officers was justified and the officers involved won't be facing criminal charges. Alm went over the full timeline of events for the case. This incident happened on January 1st on University Avenue. Tafokitau led police on an intense island-wide manhunt earlier that day. It all started when he shot his ex-girlfriend. She was seriously injured and Tafokitau fled the scene, leading to the chase around the island. Over the course of the day, Tafokitau would shoot at police at least 4 separate times in different communities around the island. He also carjacked a victim in Windward, Oahu at gunpoint. 2 officers suffered gunshot wounds and another male was injured by a police vehicle. Alm spoke about Tafokitau's criminal history.
Mr. Tafokitau had 14 prior felony convictions started in 1993. And those were the 6 counts of robbery in the second degree you can see partway down that screen. He was convicted in March of 2002 of multiple counts of robbery in the first degree and was sent to prison. He then did 20 years. He maxed out his sentence on March 3, 2022, just under 2 years before this incident happened. And sometime later, he told a relative, "I'm not going back to prison."
Alm says ultimately he believes this was a suicide by cop incident. He also wouldn't answer questions about the father-son beating case that same day because his office is still investigating that. Be sure to stay tuned to later editions of Hawaii News Now, as well as our mobile news app and website to get the latest details on this story. Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Dylan. A former correctional officer accused of sexually abusing female inmates is appearing in court today. Mikhail Rivera worked at the Federal Detention Center in Honolulu from 2014 to 2018. He is accused of committing sexual acts with an inmate through the use of threats and engaging in sexually abusive conduct with 2 other inmates, according to court documents. Rivera was arrested by U.S. Marshals last night in the Ala Moana area after he failed to show up for proceedings. A manhunt is underway in New York City for a suspect accused of fatally shooting the CEO of United Healthcare. It happened early this morning in the heart of Midtown Manhattan. A spokesperson says Brian Thompson was heading to the company's investors conference at the New York Hilton Hotel. That's when the gunman fired multiple times, hitting the 50-year-old in the chest. Police say the suspect was seen on surveillance cameras waiting for about 10 minutes for Thompson. He then fled the scene on an e-bike.
The full investigative efforts of the New York City Police Department are well underway, and we will not rest until we identify and apprehend the shooter in this case.
The motive for this murder currently is unknown, but based on the evidence we have so far, it does appear that the victim was specifically targeted. But at this point, we do not know why.
Police recovered a cell phone near the crime scene. They're also looking at surveillance video and speaking to authorities in Thompson's home state of Minnesota to see if any threats were made against him in the past. A $10,000 reward is being offered for information leading to an arrest. The U.S. Supreme Court is tackling the issue of gender-affirming care for minors today and whether states can restrict such procedures. Now, justices dove into the culture war issue as they heard oral arguments considering a challenge to Tennessee's Republican-backed ban on gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors. The case was brought by the Biden administration as well as transgender teens and their families against the recently enacted law. No matter how the court rules in this case, it will have a broad impact as more than 20 other states have passed laws similar to Tennessee's. A ruling is expected by the end of June. Pete Hegseth, President-elect Trump's pick to lead the Pentagon, has denied allegations of financial mismanagement, sexual misconduct, and intoxication at a previous job. But the reports of the misconduct may be enough to sink his confirmation chances. Erica Brown has more from Washington.
Pete Hegseth says President-elect Donald Trump wants him to keep fighting to be his defense secretary nominee.
I spoke to the president-elect this morning. He said, keep going, keep fighting. Behind you all the way.
Hegseth is on Capitol Hill trying to make the case to senators.
That's what Donald Trump asked me to do. Your job is to bring a war-fighting ethos back to the Pentagon. Your job is to make sure that it's lethality, lethality, lethality. Everything else is gone.
CBS News counts at least 4 Republicans who are a no vote on Hegseth's confirmation at this time.
How many people in the Republican caucus are afraid of Trump enough or not? And now he's going to need, I think he can afford to lose 3. I mean, it's going to really come down to math.
Trump is already considering alternative names for defense secretary, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Iowa Senator Joni Ernst.
My presumption is I'll support whoever he wants and thinks is going to be great for his cabinet. It's not 100% clear to me who he wants as Secretary of Defense right now, and I defer to him.
Hegseth penned an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal accusing the press of carrying out a smear campaign and saying he looks forward to his confirmation hearings. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
The future of South Korea's president is in doubt today after an extraordinary series of events this week. On Tuesday, President Yoon Suk-yeol issued a martial law order, but opposition was swift and loud, and the order was soon lifted. Lawmakers are now moving to impeach the president, and that vote could happen as early as Friday. There are even some officials threatening to have him arrested if he does not resign. Meanwhile, protests continued today with thousands marching in the streets and holding candlelight vigils. President Yoon has remained silent despite a lot of questions about his political future. Nearly a month after she left Hawaii and went missing, Hana Kobayashi's family is skeptical of the story given by the Los Angeles Police Department. LAPD said Monday that video surveillance from U.S. Border Customs and Border Protection clearly showed the 30-year-old Maui woman walking from San Diego into Mexico on November 12th. Kobayashi's family says they were only given that information on Tuesday and have not seen the video.
They say that they've seen her alone, but that doesn't discount the fact that someone could be watching her from afar, knowing how big this case has gotten, and kind of like maybe controlling her or like telling her what to do.
I'm also very skeptical of this idea that she voluntarily walked across the border to Mexico. I think it's entirely possible that the LAPD misidentified a person in this video with all the other border crossings. As such, I'm calling on LAPD to release the video publicly. The family will know if it's Hana.
LAPD says Kobayashi previously said she wanted to get away from modern connectivity, and investigators say there's no sign of foul play. For now, it's classified as a voluntary missing persons case. Well, the holiday season usually sees an uptick in crime, and a locked post office box was the latest target of a smash and grab. Eddie Dowd says now the Postal Service is warning customers to take extra precautions to protect their mail.
A customer of the post office here by Honolulu's airport says she went to check her P.O. box Monday night when she found it smashed into with hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise missing.
So my lockbox is down here.
Lahela Di Vera was looking for Christmas presents sent by her daughter, but the container holding the key for the large items box had been smashed.
Full of gifts, about $500 worth from her travels overseas to Japan. Christmas gifts, souvenirs. I immediately went to the front counter and spoke to one of the workers, and they told me that the incidences were happening over the last few weeks, and my box was not the only one that got broken into. When I was looking around, I noticed that one was broken into. There was another one over here that's broken into, and that's because the thieves can see the keys through the glass.
The Law Enforcement Division for the U.S. Postal Service is on the case. Inspector Amanda Jaguziak says P.O. box thefts are on the rise.
We do try to prosecute every mail crime to the fullest extent of the law. We do what we can.
Jaguziak recommends adding insurance protection to valuable items. And customers can also sign up for the free service called Informed Delivery, which emails images of the mail on the way.
That allows you to keep an eye out for those important mail or packages.
The USPS confirms that the lockbox area has no security cameras, but officials are looking at ways of increasing security, including new cameras. Meanwhile, Jaguziak also says the Postal Service is not liable for thefts from P.O. boxes.
The assumption is that it's federal property and mail shouldn't be tampered with, so it's safe.
Customers can still make claims online. DeVera says she has filed a claim, but it's not going as smoothly as she hoped. Eddie Dowd, Hawaii News Now.
The University of Hawaii is planning to address the state's teacher shortage. Across the 10 campuses, UH is beginning to streamline its education programs. By doing this, it would ensure that high school graduates can begin their education at any UH campus and later transfer their credits across the system to complete their teacher preparation program in a timely manner. They're also working to expand online access for students on all islands. A $20 million workforce housing project has been announced to help teachers in Lahaina. The state will be building 47 educator workforce housing units in Lahaina. This effort is to help address the current housing challenges for teachers who are affected by the wildfire. Now, the first units are anticipated to be available by July next year, with full completion expected in spring of 2026.
Well, happy Aloha Wednesday, everybody. Let's take a look at our first alert radar and satellite out there. We are tracking a cold front that's going to approach throughout Thursday and Friday. We're already starting to see some showers out there on the radar, mostly over the western half of the state right now. Over near Kauai, just to the southwest, we're seeing showers, and that's true for Oahu as well. We could see some rainfall throughout the rest of this evening. We're also expecting some showers throughout Thursday and Friday. I want to take you up to the northeastern Pacific, where we're tracking this low pressure system and this cold front. This cold front right here is going to move closer to the island chain as we get closer to Thursday and Friday. You can see that on our first alert futurecast. There's those couple of showers that we're seeing on the futurecast right now. Most of the rainfall off to our northwest right now, but that's going to swing closer to us as we go into Thursday and Friday. I'll give you a full breakdown hour by hour in my full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Drew. Ahead on This Is Now, after going extinct in the wild, a beloved native species is getting a second chance. An update on efforts to save the alala Hawaiian crow. Plus, imagine having a robot to help with your household chores. Well, it could happen sooner than you think. A look at the technology already being tested at homes in Norway. A historic milestone for Hawaiian crows in East Maui. The birds, known as alala, were released back into nature for the first time. Now, researchers say the alala went extinct in the wild 2 decades ago. 5 crows were let go at the slopes of Haleakala as part of a pilot program with the State Land Department, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Maui Forest Bird Recovery Project, and the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance.
Part of the strategy of releasing a juvenile cohort is to take advantage of the cohesion of that group and their ability to associate and make pair bonds as they age. The species was so close to being completely extinct that it's really a precious thing that we're trying to save. And we're hoping that if we can get down the road of recovery for alala, that everyone can celebrate that.
These native birds can now fly freely in the Kipahulu Forest Reserve and adapt to their new surroundings, all while being watched by a team of biologists and staff. Alala are also very important in Hawaiian culture, considered as aumakua. Now to the latest on the merger between Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines. Hawaiian CEO joined Spotlight Now to share what's in store for the coming year.
It's been 1 year since the announcement by Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines to merge together as one entity, and today we caught up with CEO Joe Sprigg about the transition that's still occurring between Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines.
He says in the next few weeks the airlines will be announcing some new routes to and from Hawaii. He also said that there are some redundancies still in upper management, so do expect some cuts there. At the same time, the airline is gearing up for a lot of hiring.
Not only will we be retaining all of the frontline union represented positions here in Hawaii, but adding to them. And in fact, we're in the process of hiring pilots, and also over 100 flight attendants will be hired over the next several months at Hawaiian Airlines as an example of where we're increasing the workforce here. And there will be a number of frontline airport-related jobs and maintenance technician jobs that we'll be hiring in the months ahead as well.
We also caught up with Hawaii Tourism Authority Chair Mufi Hanneman, who spoke about the importance of the upcoming legislative session and how the agency will be asking lawmakers for more money this legislative session.
How much money are you saying that we
need? We need at least $80 million. We'd like more. The industry would like us to try for $100 million. But remember now, I came into this as a chair and we were defunded for 2 years, zero. So we went from 2 years of zero to 63 million. I'm saying at least 80 million, and obviously very happy to accept more. So we want to collaborate. We believe we can justify that additional funding, but there's no question at the end of the day, without tourism, you're not going to have Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines be able to continue to fly people here because they need the guests to come here. And we are at the forefront of saying to people, we're open. It's the people, the place, the Hawaii Islands. We're magical, and we welcome you here, and our people will be gainfully employed as a result of that.
Watch the full interview at hawaiinewsnow.com. Coming up next week, we'll be talking to the head of OHA and the head of the Department of Hawaiian Homes. Join us 1 o'clock Tuesday on K5.
And stick around, your First Alert 7-day forecast coming up after the break. I'll give you the breakdown on that cold front approaching tomorrow.
Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's take a look at our First Alert weather headlines. The main thing that we're going to be talking about in this forecast is the cold front that we have approaching Thursday and Friday. We also have elevated surf out there. We might see some more high surf advisories across the entire state as we're going forward into the next couple of days. Large surf out there on north and west facing shores. Let's take a look at our overall weather pattern. What's going on out there? We've got high pressure off to our northeast, a cold front just to our northwest. Really, it's a stationary front that's kind of hiding off to the northwest, causing a lot of rainfall away from the island chain. We've also got light Kona winds in the forecast through at least today, introducing a lot of instability and moisture into our atmosphere. We're seeing some showers out there like I was showing on the First Alert radar and satellite just a little while ago over on the western half of the state. There's a lot of moisture out there. It's a little bit more muggy out there than what we were seeing last week. That cold front is going to get closer to us as we get into Thursday and Friday, bringing some more moisture for the western half of the state. The cold front's expected to fall apart as we approach this weekend. We'll see breezy trade winds on this upcoming Friday, and they'll start to be a little bit weaker as we get into Saturday and Sunday. So let's go hour by hour in our First Alert Futurecast. Going into Wednesday evening, this is 7 p.m. Look at all that rainfall and those storms off to our northwest with that cold front away from the island chain. It's going to start swinging closer to us throughout Thursday morning. This is Thursday at 4 a.m., getting closer to us throughout the drive tomorrow morning. That's around Thursday at 11 a.m. Most of the moisture, again, looks to be over the western half of the state. The most recent weather models actually have it stalling over Kauai, but right now we're still including Oahu in our chance for rainfall going forward into Thursday and Thursday afternoon. It's actually expected to stall around Oahu and Kauai throughout Friday and start to dissipate throughout Friday evening. We'll see northeasterly winds as well behind the front. Maui County and Hawaii Island aren't expecting as much rainfall as the western half of the state, but I won't count out a couple of showers out there ahead of the front. Another front's expected to arrive this weekend that's going to stay well to our northwest, but will weaken our trade winds again. Our surf and shoreline forecast, like I said, we're expecting high surf out there, north and west facing shores around 8 to 12 feet. And 6 to 8 feet. Another swell is expected on Thursday. This forecast is for Wednesday afternoon. We'll likely see high surf advisory or just below high surf advisory conditions out there. Your First Alert 7-day forecast. Overall beautiful weather today. Thursday and Friday lit up in red for a better chance for rainfall. That's the cold front getting closer. Most of the rainfall, again, over the western half of the state. Saturday and Sunday, weaker winds. We could see breezy conditions on Monday and Tuesday.
We've all been there, piles of laundry, dirty dishes, and floors that just won't stay clean. As Tina Kraus reports, robotic engineers say help is on the way.
Household chores are a never-ending cycle, an unavoidable part of daily life. But engineers say Neo can help take the load off. The humanoid robot is being tested at homes in Norway as the race to roll out the first AI bot picks up speed.
In the long term, this will be doing your laundry, cleaning your house, tidying, and generally giving you back a lot of time in life.
Neo is 5.5 feet tall, weighs 66 pounds, and can walk or run depending on the urgency of the task. Creators say the bot, powered by artificial intelligence, can carry on conversations, make decisions, and perform complex tasks. And it learns by watching people.
To how to operate objects, how to do tasks, how to handle interacting with people, body language.
Hey, could you and your friends tidy up here? We have some visitors coming.
1X Technologies activated another human helper last year named Eve, and designers say that AI bot helped them to make Neo even smarter with a sci-fi twist.
You can actually teleport into your robot and do small things in your house that maybe you forgot to do, right? Like feed the cat or close the window.
With convenience at its core, the rush to revolutionize our routines is reshaping the future. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Coming up, Santa Claus, but make it fiction. This viral holiday star is coming to Hawaii for the first time ever, where you can meet him in 2 minutes. for some good news. Santa is not only jolly, did you know he's also very stylish?
For the first time ever, Fashion Santa is coming to town. Fashion Santa is a contemporary twist on Kris Kringle, portrayed by international model Paul Mason. The world-renowned holiday personality will be at Ala Moana Center for his Hawaii debut on Monday, December 16th from 1 to 5:30 p.m. Shoppers can meet and take photos with Fashion Santa at select stores, including Bloomingdale's and Dolce & Gabbana.
He kind of looks like David Letterman.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think this is such an interesting idea. I imagine kids going to look at Santa Claus and being
disappointed,
greeted by Fashion Santa.
I think it's more for like the moms and dads.
Yeah.
Great. All right, and finally, it's a big day for music lovers. Spotify Wrapped, which breaks down the music listening history of every user's Spotify account, has crowned Taylor Swift as Spotify's global top artist for the second year in a row. Now, her music had more than 26 billion global streams. Fans couldn't get enough of her album, The Tortured Poets Department. It became the first album in Spotify history to have more than 300 million streams in a single day. Now, after Swift, the most streamed artists were The Weeknd, Bad Bunny, Drake, and of course, Billie Eilish.
300